Hello and welcome. I hope that is appreciated. I found some just gonna turn it down a little bit. Some lo-fi music that's copyright free that I will use instead of last time, which we got copyright claimed on that, which is not too surprising. Shout out to Lo-Fi Geek is their channel. It's got all the stuff on there. I put a link to their channel below in case you're wondering and are interested in listening as well, because it's a radio that I'm listening to and it's just really good music. There we go. Okay, so let's actually get to it. So since last time, I've done a little bit of work. I think I showed yesterday some of the stuff that we've gotten up to. So, to give an idea, I mean, the first and foremost is drew the face. I drew that the same day, by the way. I drew that just later that day. A few people got to see that because I posted this also to the Zycoland server once I'd done some work. To see if I could get some responses. Again, just a lot of people going, it looks cool. I had a good long chat with a good friend of mine about some things related to art, specifically stuff to do with another character I'm designing, which I might get to today depending on where we're at with this. But the big thing now with this is to start finalizing the ideas with this and fixing up details, and to do that we're going to go through and go over everything and then start like finalizing stuff. I still cannot for the life of me be able to draw feet. I look at that and look how fucking ugly that is. I shouldn't be swearing, sorry, but it looks very terrible, and I just do not know a good way of approaching this. Got given some coffee, very appreciative, and now I've been drinking that again. I haven't been able to drink it much because I usually drink it when I went out, because I don't like buying a lot of coffee because a lot of them are, it can get quite expensive quite quickly. Alright, so sorting out this foot is probably one of the big things I want to sort out today. I think it's too long, and this build up to it isn't right for what it is. I think it needs to basically be moved up. Let's try just moving it, shall we? And seeing what that does to it. No, it needs more of it like this. Okay, and then we'll do that. Ah, that's right. I forget. So we've got this folder now. So let's try here. And then just quickly grab up this green again. Let's try and tweak this. I'm also considering changing my stream times because I haven't been getting a lot of viewers at the time I'm streaming, because it's terrible for, I think, European and American viewers. So, I think what I was talking about with my friend was potentially moving it to 5:30 my time. So what that would possibly result in. What's that like? I mean, it's better, but I do still think it's a little elongated. But like, so that will be, yeah, 5:30 my time, 5:30 to 6. Right now it's 1 p.m. So what is that, roughly about 5.5 hours ago? Wait, no. 6 would result in it being 1, then 3 plus, that would put it 7. So 7 to 7.5 hours earlier than when the stream started. So if you look at when the stream starts and then look when it would be 7.5 hours earlier than that, that's when I'm thinking about doing the times instead. If that sounds better, please give me a little bit of a response and tell me, yeah, no, you'd actually be able to watch during that time even. And yes, I'm going to do more art. Tomorrow we'll probably do... What's its name again? Devil May Cry, though. We'll say that. It also means that we can do longer streams, potentially. It just means I'm going to be shattered afterwards. But I'm hoping, yeah, the better stream times would mean more people would be able to join. Yeah, no, I think it still looks wrong, but it's looking a lot better. I think we'll leave it alone for now, though. And we'll move on to what I was going to start doing, which is now going over all of this again in a above layer. And start working on actually seeing how it would look if all put together. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up this and we're going to hide elements as we go. So we need arms for now. So you know what, let's up the stabilization, shall we? While we're doing this. Sorry, I am a little tired today, so I'm going to probably be a little quiet, as well as there's no one in the chat at the moment, so no one to really bounce off. But yeah, no, feel free, by the way, to go look up the channel for this music, because it's fucking awesome. This is exactly what I need for art, typically. Is I just need, like, something that's, like, I've found synthwave, kind of lo-fi being actually quite useful for it, which I think is not too surprising because it's an extremely popular music thing for studying and such for a reason. God, I've drunk so much coffee nowadays. Well, now I've had like 2 cups today, and it's fucking just after lunch. We'll leave it there for then. You ever wonder if these channels like randomly put in subliminal messages just as a fucking meme? I know, I'm thinking about weird things. I need to talk about something I can remember. I get very bored when I do art and just don't like talk or hard listen to stuff, and I've noticed more and more with streaming that I would prefer to kind of keep a conversation going even if there's not people to talk with, because it makes the content more interesting. Tell me what your thoughts are below. If you want me to shut up and just get on with doing the work, or if you enjoy my incessant conversation. Honestly, if you're watching, you're probably enjoying the thoughts and stuff like that. I was hearing some complaints again from the Lego Star Wars community about the in the title screen. I'm wondering if anyone knows about this. So the title screen is very centered around Rey, which I'm gonna possibly start a war here. I don't like Rey. I think that the sequel trilogy was really poorly handled, both by a writing perspective and just in general, like the fact that they switched directors partway through, and it, like, you had one director that made the first movie trying to be as much of a homage to the original trilogy as possible. It was basically a reskin of A New Hope. Then you got the next director that threw all Star Wars advice out the window and didn't even bother to like look into source material, and just broke rules of the world that had been set up. And then you've got the guy for the first one coming back and trying to salvage what had happened. I'm gonna be honest, that movie was an adequate end to a story that had already finished. That's what I see as the sequels. It was an okay story for a story that had already finished. But the thing is, as it says, the story was already finished. It wasn't necessary. And outside of that, been quite unimpressed with a lot of the products Disney's put out for that stuff. Point is, though, it's called the Skywalker Saga, and it doesn't even bother to have, like, Anakin Skywalker as the main person to talk, which is literally the entire story is based around him. And it's his story that is the big building point of the entire universe, really. So to not have him as the main thing when it's called the Skywalker Saga, and then having Rey, which basically stole the name, which I still don't get that scene at all. If anyone has a good way of explaining it to me, please do, because I still don't understand why it's like Rey Skywalker. It's like, well, it's her banding in her Palpatine descendants, and it's like, yeah, but why Skywalker? Like, she never really had a clear connection with the characters, the Skywalkers of Luke and Leia. She had a bit of one with Leia, yeah, I'll give you that, but like overall there was not a reason for that that made sense in my eyes. So but hey, I'm also beating a dead horse with this, because like everyone kind of collectively hates on the sequels for a variety of reasons. I want to stress, by the way, the story for the second of the sequels, if it wasn't for the fact that it broke a lot of canon, I thought it was going to be cool. Don't get me wrong, I did get annoyed at the fact that like he wrote a story that basically was, okay, we have an idea, cool, that doesn't work. That took 70% of the movie. Now we come up with a completely different idea. Oh, cool. That doesn't work. Then we come up with a last-ditch effort. That doesn't work. And they're still fucked. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it for that. But, like, in conceptually speaking, if it was handled significantly better, I think it could have actually been quite a fun movie. Because it was extremely reminiscent of, if anyone knows of this stuff, the first episode of Battlestar Galactica, which is all I thought while watching that movie initially. It's just like a reroll of that, which that story was fucking awesome. Especially as an introductory story point for what was going on. Ironically enough, I think that movie would have worked better as the first movie of the sequels. Like, in general, excluding again the canonical breaking of rules of the Star Wars universe. Again, something that was just down to the fact that the guy doing it really wanted to do something different, which again isn't something that should be considered a flaw. It's cool to try and want to do something different. The problem is when you break canonical rules to do so, you, in a franchise that is arguably one of the most well celebrated in the Western sphere, you're kind of asking for backlash. I don't know what I say other than that, really. So yeah, no offense, but like you asked to kind of fuck up and you fucked up. And like we could always go into like the whole conversation of what the fuck was Snoke? Why did you do that character so dirty like that? Like that character just didn't even feel somewhat interesting in that movie. But then again, I do agree with an argument that's been made because like, so I've watched for Star Wars Day this year, I went and watched all of the prequel and sequel movies, prequel and original movies, sorry. And I have to say, prequels are a lot better than I remember. Clone Wars, the second one, still garbage in my eyes. I still think that was a hugely bad movie, and it looks like a lot of the cut content that we're seeing about nowadays would have drastically improved it. In my eyes, at least. Because there was a bunch of cut content from like dealing with Padme's family. And like the interacting with that and dealing with Anakin, dealing with some of that stuff. But like, let's be honest, the Revenge of the Sith, like the acting between Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor was actually pretty cool. I do feel bad for Hayden Christensen because he was just not given well direction throughout all of that. But that's just because, in the simplest sense, George Lucas was a really good writer. I would argue he was not a good director. But the fact that he had full control over his story and he did shift it to being a very different story, which he said was intentional, and it was cool to see the political side as well as it's designed for the new generation. So yeah, you're gonna have to suffer, Jar Jar Binks. Woo. It's a fucking movie for kids. Deal with it. Like, again, looking back at it now, it's actually not a bad movie. The set of movies. Aside from the Clone Wars. I'm gonna get controversy from this. I do think, honestly, the Revenge of the Sith movie, and possibly also Phantom Menace, was better than Return of the Jedi. But that movie was just terrible. That was by far the worst movie out of the original trilogy. And that was because George Lucas didn't want to be there. Because if anyone's wondering what I mean by that, so George Lucas hated the executives and producers and stuff like that. He really did. They were the worst part of dealing with that job for him, and he barely wanted to. But he had one saving grace. His, I think, wife at the time. Basically, she was there and got him through it all. It was the only thing that got him through it. And they broke up before Return of the Jedi. And so they kept harassing him. So he said, fuck it, I'm gonna make a shitty good versus evil movie, not a grey story like I've been making so far that everyone enjoys. So if you ever wonder why the story feels like it shifts so fucking hard on Return of the Jedi, that's why. because it is intended to switch because he'd had enough of them being whiny little gits. Which, let's be perfectly honest, I think we can all kind of understand that kind of perspective. Everyone would have had a moment like that in their life, where they had someone that was just told them to do one thing constantly that they hated. It might be a parent or something like that. You absolutely despised the idea of it, and it just got worse and worse until you eventually did it, and you did it either subparly or you did it really, really fucking well. The thing is, in the adult world, that doesn't change, and George Lucas decided to not care and just knock out a movie so he could get out of it, which is completely understandable. Because, like, he designed most of the stuff external to Star Wars before, like, really writing it substantially from memory. Which is not all that abnormal, because if you've actually listened to a lot of... a lot of writers, they will write a lot more than that they put in the book, obviously. And they'll have like diaries and stuff like that of all of these fucking connections. I dread to see what George R.R. Martin's like side little stuff is like, because that shit's just so insane. He keeps a lot of story together, which, say what you will, he does it really well. It's quite impressive. I struggle reading the book a little bit, his books, but that's just because it's in a style I don't quite like. I mean, I'm a real get on the wild side with some people. Hot take, I do not like The Hobbit. I do not like reading it. I do not like any of Tolkien's work. I think all of it, in a modern standpoint, would not be good. However, I can see why it's good. He's done an amazing job of developing a lot of things that normally wasn't developed to such an extent, as well as he did it really, really detailed. The thing is, the detail gets to a point where I'm like, I'm just reading a dude describing a tree for like 4 pages. If you ever wondered how far I actually made it in The Hobbit, you know that little like preemptive story at the beginning about hobbits and describing them? Yeah, I didn't even finish that. I got really irritated. I flicked through it because I had to do an assignment on it, and then I used the rest of my memory from the movies. I managed to actually get an A on that assignment, which kind of might say a lot. Again, like I said, I'm pretty sure I just pissed off a lot of people with some of those statements. I apologize if I have annoyed anyone, but I will also say these are my own personal opinions, and if you liked the book and stuff like that, that's completely up to you. Like, I'm not going to diss you for liking it. In fact, I will plainly say I can see why people like it, because it's actually a really well constructed universe that isn't done to that extent very often. It is a unique story. And to say it's anything less is like blatantly wrong. But it's, yeah, I would guarantee, I mean, there was the whole thing about like they sent it to a bunch of editors, like editing companies and stuff like that. And most people said it needed so much work that it potentially would just get cancelled most of the time without realizing what it was. I mean, Harry Potter, right? Like, this is gonna get real. I'm starting to just go, like, I feel like I'm only calling out books now, novels, but it's truly the case. With Harry Potter, I don't think that the stories were ever bad. I think they were actually pretty solid. However, I think by the end of it, everyone was too afraid to actually curate and edit it properly, which is why the fucking final book is a goddamn tome that doesn't need to be. Whoa, that's way too much of a sharp turn. Okay. Like, it's got the same issue that Lord of the Rings and stuff like that had, yet it's a modern book. It shouldn't have had those issues. So, again, that's not saying, like, it was bad, it's just that it was not, like, no one went through and edited it properly. Because clearly there was too much prestige and stuff around it, and it ends up being like this giant fucking tome of a story that needed much less. Like, there's some great stuff I've heard about the books, and I will be also very open in admitting I've not read them. I've just listened to big fans of the universe and looked at parts of it and stuff like that. To know this sort of stuff. So if you want to call me out on that, feel fucking free. I'm not going to dispute any of that. However, I will also state that, like, I really loved some of the finer side stories that I've been told about that existed in some of the earlier books. I think one of the ones I really came to like, and everyone was angry when it wasn't added to the movie, was the story with Hermione Granger and the elves at Hogwarts, and how it was this big thing of, like, she's trying to raise them to like rile them up and get them to be free and all that sort of stuff, and she gives them everything she needs to do it. Gives them clothing and all that. They just start folding it. Why? Because they don't want to be free. They're fine. They're happy. They're content. They don't have a reason to need to do it. And that's the sort of story that I like, because it's like that kind of argument of, you know, sometimes what you think is the right idea and should be done to others isn't the right. While, yes, it's cool to be free and stuff like that, and for Dobby that was good. Poor Dobby. Like, again, this is an entirely different species with a completely different culture. Hogwarts is a safe place. They're a very weak race, kind of, overall. Like, they, in the magical kingdom, they could probably be fucking destroyed quite easily and quite scarily. So you're telling them to get out of the safety of what they are and the comfort that they're in. Why would you? That's like, I don't know if we got a good example in human terms, because again, it's a very different cultural thing. But again, this is all coming from someone's perspective that isn't a huge fan or hasn't read some of these books, and you can go like, oh, but your opinion's wrong for that. And I completely understand where you're coming from, because I make that argument a lot of the time. Why, like, unless you've experienced it and watched it, you have no, or read it, you have no right really to making a valid complaint on what it is, because you don't know it, you haven't experienced it, so you're only going off other people's opinions and bias. That's why at one point in time, and this is going to really show how much of a intensity I have for this sort of argument, I did not like the Twilight stuff. I watched the first one, and apparently I quite liked it when I was younger. But then I went and watched it again, and I did not like it at all. But I also acknowledged that, like, I was getting a lot of my argument as to why I didn't like it from other people. So, I did the unthinkable. No, I don't like these as 3D. Sorry, I was just gonna fix this. I went and watched all of the movies in one sitting. Every single one of them. Then I fell asleep. And then the next morning I woke up and watched Vampire Sucks, the parody of them. That movie's better. My honest complaints of those movies. Following the books was the problem. The later movies stopped following the books so hard. And fuck me, I will stand by. I really loved the big plot twist moment of basically like the war's happening, everything's going wrong, the main villain dies, and then it's just like go through all the fight, all that, yeah, and then it just rewinds and comes back to the beginning before the fight even happened. It's like, and that's what happens if you keep going, because like the chick that can see the future did the thing. I absolutely adored that. I thought that was really, really cool, really, really fun, and I really was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. That's my genuine thought on that. But the rest of the time when it was focusing on Bella and Edward, yikes, that story was just really not interesting. The Voltari? I'm gonna get yelled at by my partner for this because she actually knows way more about some of the stuff than I do. Voltari, so the guys that did all the like the main antagonistic force. They're apparently really, really fascinating, really, really interesting, and I completely concur from all the stuff that I saw. I thought it was really cool. So, like, again, I'll very openly state, yeah, no, I really enjoyed some of that stuff, but it was just pure and simply the main story with Bella and all that pulled the entire thing down. And if it's your main couple that's basically the reason why I don't want to watch the movie, then it's clearly not great. Then you've got like the fucking fanfic that got turned into an actual story and then a movie. The what's it called? 50 Shades of Grey, which was just bad. I did not like that. That just made me feel very uncomfortable the entire time. I mean, one recent movie that really pissed me off, because I read the novel for it when I was growing up, was Mortal Engines. I fucking love the Mortal Engines books. I really do. What the fuck was that movie? Like, I feel like I should defend Peter Jackson because he's a Kiwi and he's done some fairly cool stuff. But like, what the fuck, dude? That was... You've actually made it so you could never do any more with those movies. You've actually actively sabotaged it. Because the story ends completely different. Now, you could make the argument of creative freedom, which I will accept that argument. However, he creatively freedomed it away from being the good story it was. Because it didn't bother to do the really fucking cool ending. Where basically everyone fucking dies. Instead, it did the exact opposite and everyone fucking lives. Just like, why? Because to anyone that's actually read the books, I want to hear your opinion as well as to what you thought about like Shriek. That was handled poorly for my eyes, and then all of the stuff around Valentine was handled poorly, which actually arguably is Shriek as well. It's like Shriek wasn't even in their lab. Because like he turns up, if I remember correctly, he literally turns up to London before she gets there and is just waiting. And is in London the entire time, and then they just release him to go get Hester Shaw. Because obviously you need to get rid of Hester Shaw, which was a fair assumption and they failed. Because like Shriek's death was way more interesting in the books. Well, in my opinion anyway. Again, opinion based discussion here, so if you don't agree, fair enough. But voice would, like, I want to know why people wouldn't agree, because like I was so mad that, for example, the daughter, she lived, which again spoilers for the book, I guess. Valentine's daughter, the one that's actually on London, she doesn't live, she dies. In fact, that's actually why London gets destroyed, is her death. Because what happens is, instead with the Medusa, instead of just like malfunctioning and shitting itself, it starts malfunctioning because she takes the bullet for Hester from Valentine, and her head smashes into the keyboard, the input's incorrect, and then the system's just like, error, energy building up, can't get rid of it, explosion imminent. And it just vaporizes London. Or at least a good chunk of it. Which I'm sure you can figure out why a lot more people die in the original. And then it's basically just the end is Tom and Hester Shaw just going, yeah, nah, fuck this shit, and leaving in the Mary Jane, I think it is. That's what it's called. The airship. Then you got all the other books, which are... I still never finished the series, I'll be honest, because I think I read the majority of the third book, never read the second one, because I didn't realize there was a second one, or like which ones were which, till I'd almost finished the third one. So I stopped reading that, tried to find the second one, could not find it in any of my libraries or any shops over here, which was pain. Until much later down the line, which I think my partner bought for me. No, I bought for myself because I was buying up the... I've got every mainline book for Mortal Engines sitting on my thing, and I tried to start rereading and try it all out, but the place I was reading at has closed down, and I didn't have an opportunity to keep doing it because it was kind of like this salt therapy place. It's very lovely. Which you'll just like sit in the room for like an hour and breathe in like a salty sort of specialized salt into the air. It was really good, relaxing, and it was really good because it was in a nice low light level area, so it's quite good if you've been looking at computer screens a lot, because you just go in there and read a book. It's because it's not too low to hurt your eyes for reading, but it's low enough that you can relax your eyes quite a bit. Before anyone asks, no, it's not fucking all the spiritual crystals and stuff. It's got some rationale behind it, but it didn't apparently make a profit, and then COVID hit and it just basically died, which again, sad. It's a lovely place. You know, one book series I am very tempted to get back into reading, though, or reread, I should say, is the stuff for Halo. Like the Reach book. I really loved those books. I thought they were really fun and really cool, interesting stories that I wish were told better in the games. Which they kind of were when Bungie was in charge. Because again, they told the story of more soldiers, not just Spartans. Which is now what you get with 343, is their stories are all Spartan focused and you barely get any like non-Spartans involved in the stories. Again, like that's why I would hazard to argue that was a big fault of the Master Chief series, as I actually heard some people talking about. It's like, that series could have been good if it wasn't about Master Chief. Which I am very interested to see what they kind of mean by that, because again, I haven't watched it. I've watched a lot of clips from it though. Which you could argue, it's like, oh, well, that's curated stuff. It's like, yeah, but I was watching it from people's perspectives going like, this stuff's amazing, and I was like really disappointed with what I was seeing. I've heard a lot of people that really liked it, and found it really fascinating to see like someone dealing with the psychological trauma and childhood damage that was kind of shown in the show, which is fair, but like, fuck it, even Halo 4 did that better. Or the comics, Until Dawn. Oh, because yeah, I read one of the comics, I can't remember which one it is, but it was like about the early years of the Spartans and everything, and how they were grabbed, everything, and that one was really good. I really loved a lot of the stuff for that. I still am torn because like I still want to say like I really love the Halo story, but like again, I played Halo 5 and I was sorely disappointed, and I'm gonna be honest, I've seen Halo Infinite, I've seen a playthrough of it, and while I'm not going to say anything about the multiplayer, though I've heard that that's apparently quite died off a little bit, and it does look better than a lot of others that have existed. I still think the best they ever did was Reach, and that was the last Bungie Halo game. And like since then, all of the games have been inadequate in comparison. Which again, like that's a very much an opinion thing, but I think Halo 4 was an alright game. It wasn't too bad, but it still focused on like the human side of everything, and it was kind of wrapping up a story, wrapping up like the events of what happened prior to this and finalizing stories. But like, I agree with one complaint I was hearing. Cortana's been dying for the last how many games? Which, by the way, fun story, before I finished Halo 4, I had a mate that was a cunt and spoiled me for it. Sorry, not that word. He was not a good fellow, and he spoiled it for me. Yeah, not supposed to say that C word, apparently. In America, it's not so okay. Over here, it's just something you say to your mates. Anyway, point is... Right, so... Fuck, where was I? Yeah, she's been dying for the last few games, and it's like, well, I'm gonna just die at this point. Like... You also... I was so worried up until I heard that apparently it was like the point of the story of it, but like I was so worried that they killed off Atriox. Because like Atriox was basically the best villain they've ever single-handed, like single character that was the best villain of all of the fucking Halo universe in my eyes. So what I mean by that is like, obviously you've got the Gravemind and stuff like that, but I wouldn't argue that the Gravemind's a single character. I would actually very much argue against that, because that's literally what it is it's supposed to be a collective. So like single-handedly, the Flood's the scariest, right? I think no one's gonna really disagree with that. But external to the Flood, Atriox is terrifying, because he fucking scared the goddamn Covenant at their prime. when like the humans were barely able to survive. So yeah, no, it's very much an argument of like, how do you use such a impactful character correctly? It's not easy. And yeah, no, that I was so scared when I thought they screwed the pooch with it, because like, you basically built up the coolest villain ever and then kill him off screen in the first time you introduce him into the mainline series. Okay, what do we think? The foot still bugs me. That chin's kind of weird. I mean, it seems pretty good. I like it. Some work that needs to be done, but like, it's still pretty solid. Okay, so what are we gonna work on? We're gonna work on, I think, around the face. That's what we'll work on. I'm gonna be back in a second because I need to go sort some stuff out. So just sit here and relax, I guess. Welcome back to me, yay! Sorry for that. Just need to go sort some stuff out. I hope you didn't wait for me so long that you forgot about me. Don't wanna close my eyes. Don't wanna be all asleep 'cause I miss you, babe. I don't wanna miss a thing. So at this one time, the weakness of the head and face, to anyone that's wondering what I'm gonna try and fix, is currently off to this side here. This is very empty, and the chin jawline does not give it well, because if we were being particular, how this would then work is it would go to here and then it would come right up here, and there's no recognition of such an event because the ear would be back here then, so it would be coming out over. So we need to probably just do this, really. Actually, I could just do that connection. That fixes a little bit of the issue. Still doesn't quite look right. But I don't know how much more I can edit on that. That will fix it. Do we go to the dreaded foot, boys and girls? So at distance, it looks so wrong, and I don't even know what it is anymore. Like, I feel that like the best answer is just this. But then that still looks extremely cartoony with how it's kind of feeling. So again, I think it's just too long still. So what we can do is take that. Take this. Move this part up. Here. Ah, it looks so tiny. It looks baby foot. Still looks very freakish, but I think that's a little bit better. I think at this point this works more. It's the problem is I can make it look okay in short range, but I can't make it look good in the larger scope of things, because this just looks like a fucking turkey leg now. Like, an argument could be made that potentially we just do more of that. Angle of things. No, that's coming out way too far to the side. So let's kind of just go over this. So leg is up above knee, foot is back. What happens to your foot when you do this? Except this leg is rotated out more. Oh, yeah. This is difficult. Actually, the more default position I'm feeling is completely push out. So more along these sorts of lines. Let's actually have a little look up of, so we'll try real stupid Google for this. Anime girl bounding. No, that's brought up some very different things than I was thinking for bounding, like as in bounding across a field. Oh, and I tried bouncing, and so far I've seen just booba. Good God. Let's try anime girl running. Ironically enough, I'm actually finding that that foot normally is just like hidden or just really shitty. Wow, I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that struggles with this. Let's try. Oh god, that's too tiny. It's far too tiny. I don't need side on, I need more front on shots. Man, yeah, people try and hide that shit or it always looks terrible. What the hell? Maybe I need to move the leg forward. Or I need to re-angle it. Let's try re-angling it, shall we? Oh, I just saw something. You still just hide it. This just looks so confusing though. If she's moving forward with this one and then the legs going this way. I feel like at this point in time, one of the best decisions I can make is actually re-angle it so it's coming out here. So more like this. which puts me in a much easier position to design from. In fact, we could take this the next step further. So if we come back to this, right? So the knee comes out there and then it will come up here. All right. Can probably trim that down a little bit more. And then we can probably rotate the foot a little bit as well. But what we can do now to better accommodate the body would probably be I know what I need to do with this area later, so I'll come back to it when it's no longer being heavily edited. Okay, it needs to probably be higher, maybe here. So that would be kind of an idea on it. Though I think the knee needs to come out a bit more is because this doesn't cleanly match. And then this needs to be rolled over a little bit on the top. Ignore that for the moment. Because then, like, the foot here would probably want to be rotated to being a little bit more, kind of this. Position. Which would lead to this line actually becoming a better as a slightly straighter line. This feels just too high up. Oops. Does that feel better? Yeah, but it still like doesn't seem the right angle now. Now it feels like I gotta move these shorts down like completely. To fucking just about here, right? Yeah, just about. Um, Okay, I swear that's not intentionally supposed to look wrong. No, that's way too tiny. Now I just need to angle them better. Still needs some work, but now we need to also redo this. Fuck, what are we doing? Hmm. Oops. What I'm learning from this the most is I made this drawing far too small. I've been so focused on doing this. I apologize. It's something I'm not comfortable with because I'm normally one to try and put shoes on my characters just because I don't like drawing feet. So, comfort zone, pushing out. It's a good opportunity though. Got to improve with your art all the time. And how to change this to look a little less blocky, which I think is just pure and simply. Yeah, that looks fine. Now to do something similar here. I know why this looks weird. I just realized. But what I can do, this is going to sound real stupid, but I'm going to try and cheat. Nah, I don't think I can cheat that easily. I might keep it nearby though. Just so I can use it as a reference point. Ironically enough, I think that actually more or less gets me there. Yeah, I just need to do a little bit of tweaking here. Whoops. No, that doesn't look quite right. It needs a little bit more detail, so kind of just along the lines of this, right? Ooh, no. It's the other way, maybe? Yeah. Though this seems very far down. I think the toes need to be longer. I need to go further across just a little bit. Whoops. That doesn't look too bad. Whoop. There we go. Yo, that actually looks good. Aside from like the over the top darkness of this side here, which can be just fixed with a simple erase here. Yo, that actually looks nice. Okay, delete that layer because I don't need that anymore. Oh my god, that took so fucking long. That's been most of this bloody stream. Also, hello there, would it be Vucky is how you'd say the name? Vucky Abex? Abex? Ebik? Oh my god. Alright. Okay. Now to try and work on some of the pendants, because I think that's going to be the next important step. Abex, yeah, I would assume as much because it's probably just how it is. No, I don't quite like that angle. Hope you're doing better than me staring at feet for the last like hour as I try and learn how to draw them. They are one of the most painful things to draw, it seems. For me at this stage. I think I kind of came away with it with a little bit of my sanity intact. Little bit of it. No, that looks way too big and it doesn't look like a good angle anymore. Slim this side? No, it just in general is too big. Okay. Okay, and then I need to work on the side of it. No, that line doesn't follow a correct order. So if we were to do it, it would be here. So what am I drawing? I have a kind of request from someone I know personally that gave me like a list of things basically to draw. Like a character they wanted, and they gave me a small list to what is required to accomplish said list. The list is really not easy to hit. Give me a second, I'll pull it up. Because it should be around here somewhere. It's just me complaining about rugby. It should be around here soon. There it is. So if I pull this over, you should see. This is the little character brief that I was given to kind of figure out and design for. So outside of that, I've been trying to figure out how to best do the design. And I showed the person like months ago when they initially asked me, and I basically said I will get to it when I get to it because I've been quite busy. I showed them a very brief concept art. If I pull this away, I think it was this is what we originally had. I drew this up in about half an hour. I think it was 40 minutes in total, but that's including the time it took to find all of the reference material for those conditions to be met for what they wanted. This was not an easy task. Then so far what we've been doing on stream is going through and figuring out like the physiology, redesigning it, because like that's what this here, you see a lot of the physical side getting changed from the original design there. They wanted me to suffer? Yeah, they did. Like, I feel like they don't understand how hard... Like, I never draw feet normally. Almost every other design I do in my entire life, I've never done. So we came up with this, and like the head I did afterwards, but this was more or less what we did last stream. This is what I got to, so this was the design that we're at, and now I'm going through and cleaning it up and figuring it out. You can see that the leg changes drastically between the two. That's because fuck trying to find an angle for this foot. There was no way to draw it. It's been the majority of the stream is trying to figure out how to do this, so I decided to give up and completely redesign to doing this, which I think this looks a lot better. I'm trying my best to try and figure out like what they want throughout it. I have tried to be in contact with them and tell them, hey, come maybe look at the streams to see what your design's at and if you're still liking what's being done. And so far all I've gotten is a yes, seems good, which it doesn't tell me if they like it or not. It's just a yeah, which I guess they are pretty casual with it because like this was not I'm not getting paid for this, so, and I am using this as an excuse to get learning back art since I did it in high school, which has been a good while. Because yeah, no, haven't done much art since back when. Like I've done a little bit of stuff here and there when I get the drive, but the drive is very rare just due to how much I got screwed over back then, how much I didn't want to do art again. So I decided to learn digital art now, and you can see my progress so far. I actually do have a couple of other drawings I'm working on the side for myself. You can see up the top here, you got 2 additional drawings. One of those is basically as good as I could get it at the time, and the other one I quick sketched up 2 days ago in about the space of 40 minutes, and I need to go over and work on it. And I said if we got far enough with this, I would do it today. At this rate, it's probably not happening. But yeah, like also with the design that they've requested, it's like, okay, so if I pull, so long flowing black hair and all that sort of black and purple hair, cool. I think I've ticked that box. Small cute fang, I mean that's something that kind of really gets done mainly at the end. Caramel colored skin, something that happens later. Heterochromic, which is eye color stuff, that's much later. Mature but slightly childish. I think I've kind of done well with the design. Like I need to clean this up over here as well around the chest, but like for the most part this is I feel like in that nice middle ground. And then her outfit is one that defines curves. I think I've kind of done that. And modeled after ancient civilization attire referencing Polynesian, African, Egyptian, and Aztec, which is a lot of cultures. There's a lot of different cultures in that list. So yeah, and then the body well proportioned. Yeah, again, kind of done. Then bare feet, no shoes, and then possibly tattoos. I'm like, okay, well, what kind of tattoo designs? And it's like, oh, well, I don't know yet. So, she's not exactly the most design-focused person that I've ever met, but all the same. But like at this point in time, I've got this design that I did up. If you're wondering, this is the one I was talking about. That's basically as far done as I could get it at the time. I still am not happy with the face, eyes area, and the shadow's still a bit underwhelming. I think the wings need still a little bit of work, as well as the purple on them. It's like, I mean, if you zoom in here, it looks fucking ugly. Some of that sort of stuff, and this was the thing I mentioned I drew together real quick before. So, I'm getting somewhere with these designs. You like the quad drop? I'm a spook you. It's not 4. Look at it down here. Heh. It's 6. Though I do not blame you for not seeing those. Those are really hard to see, especially knowing that, like, again, the black lines against this black is quite hard to pick. I really do need to find a better black for it. Sounds really weird to say. I mean, there's like 3 different blacks in this coloring, because I think, the hair, the horns, and like, it's because I think the horns and the tie share the same black. the hair is a different black, and then there's like obviously the kind of jacket's a different black, and the shoes are kind of arguably also a different black. There's a lot of blacks, and I did not do well getting them across well, so it needs work. But for my first like big scaled thing that I did over like, I want to say a week, and having done bugger all coloring even just before doing this stuff, I think it went relatively well. Because like the most graphic design stuff I've ever really dealt with was Photoshop, I have to say. And that was back way back when. I was not impressed with it. Though the design I showed earlier that I used as the foundation for this was done inside of Illustrator. Because I was trying out using Illustrator to see if that was a good tool, hence why you see the lines look so jank and stuff, because they're vector based. Which vector lines sound really good until you do lots of art with them, and then they don't feel all too great to use. Okay. Because yeah, like so far today, all we've done is all of this black, inking out, working on the foundation from what we've done in the past. And then we'll turn this into a reference layer eventually, do a much cleaner go through, and then start coloring. Is the intention I have. That's completely fair. I'm right there with you, bud. Like, I didn't... Fun fact, my early drawing was all dragons. In fact, the first drawing book I really ever used as my reference point to learning to draw stuff was like outside of Pokemon, because I did that for a long time. What was it called? Deltora Quest, I believe is what it's called. I learned how to draw those dragons, and I got pretty capable with that design. Not like, I think there's an anime for it, not those, the original novel covers. I think drawing human anatomy is absolutely annoying and frustrating and terrible in just about every single way. Because fantasy means you can do a lot more with it. However, I've come to sort of get stuff going again. And kind of accept the limitations of it and learn from it. Because again, like, this character's in a lot of movement, and that has caused me a lot of grief, but it's also really interesting to try and play with. Like the bag over here, it's in motion, the pendant on her neck is kind of floated up a little bit. I mean, her hair is an example exactly of motion. So... Now, if I turn this back on for a second, I just need to see, yeah, it's here. It's just bugging me that this hasn't been connected up yet again. The dragons, oh, they're Western dragons for, primarily 4 legs. Though I did do some Japanese dragons back when, but it was again after I'd learned how to do the Western dragons. But yeah, like I mean that's the whole argument, is like when you talk dragons, there is the Asian dragon, which is no wings whatsoever, typically, and very snaky-esque in design, which that was fun to learn how to do eventually. But the rest of the time you've got the Western design, which surprisingly enough I live in a Western-based country, so was the main dragon I was interacted with outside of what was it called again? The Jackie Chan like animated TV show where like that was a fever trip and a half. But that show was when I first really dealt with Chinese myth dragons, and I did find them really cool. I mean, you could also argue Pokemon was technically an even earlier interaction with it, but you don't really kind of think on it too much in that case. Okay. Well, at least the legs don't look bloody awful anymore. Oh. I'm sure you can hear some of those pops. But yeah, if you want to look up exactly the dragons I'm talking about, it's spelt Del Toro. If you look up that, you'll undoubtedly find the dragons that I was referring to. Very cool, very fun novels for a kid, I have to say. See, where is this at? So this goes there. So we'll just raise this out a little bit. I should also remind, like, while I could draw those dragons relatively competently, I also could not color them for shit. But yeah, like all of the early Pokemon generations, I got really good at drawing when I finally got access to that stuff, but before that it was just general stuff. I actually used to go into competitions for art when I was really young. Like I was actually really capable with that sort of stuff. On an unrelated note, how much would you invest into stupidity? It depends on the stupidity. There's a free jet boat on my local Craigslist at the moment. Oh my god, that sounds so much fun. But it is good. That would be really expensive because you'd need like all the stuff for it. I mean, if you've got the time to like try and maintain the boat, I see no reason why you shouldn't. Then again, it's also like, as long as that money's not getting used for, would have been used for something more important. I guess that's also the argument. like, hell, I've spent a little bit of money on this streaming stuff that I'm doing at the moment, and I mean, like, the mic in front of me, for example, is like a good few $100s. But that's also because I'm a huge like tech media nut. So I did a lot of media studies back when, so I know like a good chunk about amps and the likes, so I could actually set up a stadium if I ever wanted to. Never did that as a job, surprisingly, but I was trained for it. So yeah, like, I guess this is a kind of hobby fun thing for me, and I spent hundreds of actually lots of money on this. So take that as your sort of basis. Like, I found practical reasons why, but because I also do work via online, so having a better microphone kind of makes a bit of sense. Having a really good webcam, because the last webcam I had was constantly refocusing because it was like a $20 one I got from like a bargain bin. And I got it like years ago. Still have it somewhere. You already have one broken machine you know nothing about. I mean, that's what YouTube tutorials are for, right? Like, I'm not even kidding. A good bit of the stuff I've looked up for streaming came from that. For art as well. And this program specifically. I mean, that's how come I know how to do the color system in this really quick and easy, because this program's bloody phenomenal for it. Because let's just say, right, we'll just use this as an example. So there is this tool here, which is enclose and fill. We'll just switch to a gray so we can see it. I draw around. We're just using a mouse for now. Oh, whoops. Well, that's a problem for later. Boom. Now if I pull this down, you can see it figured out where all the actual inside the art is. And then I can like treat and remove some stuff. But point is, it figured out almost all of this. Albeit, yes, it's missing a few spots, but like, can you really blame it? I also missed a few spots. And you can also tell it's like, oh, well, do this area. I won't do it for that, actually. No, I might do it for... Nah. What this mode I'm kind of showing right now, like if I find a spot that wasn't too open. So actually, let's undo all of this. And we go like... refer to other layers, fill there, and we use, you see like this little scratch up here, do that and it would it's not doing it properly. Oh well, there, did it there. These little, the white spots on the sides, it will fix. It's honestly like the tools in this program is amazing, because it's actually the one used primarily by manga artists, apparently. I find out after I started using it. That's why it's got, if I put for a new thing, use of work. So you've got illustration, webtoon, comic. It's already prepped and set up for that sort of design structure. Really cool. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest, a free jet boat, the only cost would probably be transportation, right? And it's probably kind of buggered at the moment. I'd assume as well. So if you can find someone to do the work on it and stuff like that, I could see definitely a reason why to. But if you can't, then I would hazard to say that it's probably not a good idea. Like if you can't work on it and you can't find someone else to work on it for a cheaper rate or something like that, then that is going to be ending up costing you probably more than a brand new one would. That's always the worry. Okay, now to fix these little rings as well. Oh, my voice is dying a little bit. I apologize for that. Clearly not drinking enough water, which is always something I do on stream. Terrible for it. Get too distracted. I swear. Especially with art, I don't know if this is just a me thing, but like the rest of the world does not exist sometimes when I'm doing certain spots. Because you're just too focused. But better. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help that mechanics nowadays are bloody expensive. No, that hand doesn't look right. It needs to curve in here. And then come up. Ooh. Oh, that still doesn't look right. That needs to go in further, okay. God, that does not look right at a distance. I think the fingies is a little small. And that looks really jarringly out, so I need to bring that in. Oh, I hate human anatomy. No, that doesn't look right either. Where's a reference image for a hand? Okay, yes, that's a hand, but that's not what I need. I need a specific pose. Or at least a general idea of the pose. There we go. Whoops, this is in the pencil mode. It may seem strange that I always use the pen mode. It's just because the way the pencil is, if I switch to it, it just, especially when I'm doing on drawing on the scale, this really screws with my concept of what is going on. How does that look? Looks a bit better. But this will need some work. Trying to figure out anatomy, I swear. It's a task that is forever gonna haunt me. And then I think, because of what I've done, what we'll do is we'll grab this, we'll pull it down just a tad, resize it. We'll do that because we want to keep aspect ratio, because it should actually be about right. Then we accommodate. How does that look at distance now? Looks too small, actually. And this thumb is pissing me off. Yeah, those fingers are too small still. I swear. Digits are the worst thing in the world to draw. It's looking better. Okay, now it's just this part that's really blocky. No, that's not the part that I need to hit. Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. I feel like it's about as good as it's gonna get. I could clean this up a bit. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Now to fix the hair, which I think I should probably pull out my reference for. Okay. Then we bring it back and have the sleeve part on there. Cool. Now we need to figure out how to do the pointing hand. Which is a very awkward shot. I think so far this is cleaned up quite nicely today. Oh, where is the stream at? Oh, it's almost at 3 hours. I should probably stop soon. Okay, well, I think we'll stop here because at this point in time, I think it's just a hand. And so far these hands have taken me bloody ages to work on. So I think, yep, we'll... No, that's not what I'm meant to do. There we go. Just make sure it's saved. Always remember to save. Never try and forget that shit. That will end in misery. So we've done this so far today. So I'm sorry we didn't get to work on the other design. I'm gonna work on that in my free time. I mean, I haven't even actually, you know, before we finish up, as I'm finishing up, I should say, let's re-add the stuff down here. So I think the next stream will for art, if anyone that's interested in specifically just art, will probably be Friday. At this stage. And then just a reminder, stream times will be changing to better suit the European audience, which is basically all my mates. There we go. That looks nice. Okay. So, stream times will change. I've mentioned it before. I can't make a community post about it and all that stuff because that requires 1,000 viewers, 1,000 subscribers. So I apologize. Aside from that, what? Tomorrow, Devil May Cry, and that will be the first stream that will start at the new time. And then the day after that, potentially Final Fantasy. It depends on what happens. because that day is going to be a very, very busy day for me. I might potentially also stream in the afternoon of Thursday, depends on how things go. And if it is in the afternoon, it's going to be later than this stream because it will be after 5 o'clock. So no expectations on that. Then on the weekend, we should be coming back to Stardew Valley. Thank you very much for watching, if you watched during the stream or watch at a later stage. I hope you enjoyed watching me draw fucking hands and feet for the last 3 hours. Aside from that, yeah, I've already gone through all that sort of stuff. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again another time. Until then, bye-bye. I'm so sorry about the mixed audio just then. I'm trying to move some stuff around.